Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
Always love talking to this gentleman. He has so much insight. He's a master healer, spiritual teacher, numerologist, and so much more. And today, we're going to give you the opportunity to get a blueprint numerology reading. Short one, mini version. A lot to talk about today with Joseph Boutros Agape. Welcome back, Joseph. How you doing?
Very good. How are you, Steve? I'm happy to be back with you, and let's talk. Let's have some reading done if somebody is interested into quick reading, because we are into a new vibration 2023, and it is a spiritual awakening, and most of us, we're gonna feel it this year more than any other 7 year cycle, universal cycle we had in the past, because the vibration is shifting from 3D to 5D, and the way it's handled now is not the same, because the frequency is more elevated than it used to be before. So the awakening into people consciousness is going to be like, what I'm supposed to do. It's like there's something happening. There's a lot of things going weird. There's a lot of happening around me. So, and even my own clients, they say, can you please give us a new special on the chart? This way we can update our chart with you. We can see what's happening in our chart, because even if I done some chart in the past, now there's some factors in it might change. It's already shifted in their own element, and this is why people are feeling their pressure. Like, I need to do something here. I cannot sit in here. I cannot be in that relationship anymore. It's like I cannot do the same old things because they're not supporting me anymore.
I heard recently,
from
actually,
that perspective,
I read it online that whatever shift is going on here started last year, and I can't recall the month. I want to say it was sometime summertime, late summer, but it's going to continue until March of this year. And it's just we're shifting. I don't know if it's another dimension like we had talked before, but we're going in a different direction where I think it might be the awakening that you're talking about.
It is the awakening of human consciousness, but doesn't mean everybody is ready to be in that awakening also. So there's some people will be staying into their old form because they're so much programmed into a habits, and they cannot let go of that habit. So they're gonna defend their habits because it's like they're gonna be out of order, But there's some they have one leg here, one leg there, So these are the one are sitting and playing, dancing with themselves. And there's one that already leaping of faith. They can go and get more freedom into leaping into a complete new frequency that is going to be more supportive and elevating for moving forward in their life. And that depends on where you are in life and what that is bringing to your life from awakening for your soul to start spreading its wing everywhere and start doing what your mission or calling is here to do. Remember, for me, in my blueprint numerology, everybody talk about destiny, path, or purpose. But for me, all of these, your destiny, path, or purpose is for you to be happy, joyful, and fulfilled. Because if you don't have those three basic elements, you're not living. Then once you have those elements, then we start talking about what's your mission in this lifetime or your calling. Otherwise, what's the point of talking about it? Because if I'm not still happy, if I'm doing a job, I'm miserable in it, that's mean you're not happy. So why you keep extending that? So you need to do some ritual, or not ritual in the sense of ritual, some forgiveness to yourself. So saying, I forgive myself for prolonging all of this time, keep doing or sticking into that job that I don't like, that is not bringing me any satisfaction, but I'm only there for the salary of it.
Do you feel with this shift that people are going to have that aha moment, that awakening to say, something's not right here. I
Big
should,
time.
yeah. Okay, great. I want to share with everybody
Big.
Blueprint numerology. If you'd like a quick reading, what we need is your name, your date of birth. Want to tell us where you're from? That'd be great too. And instant feedback, steve@gmail.com for that. While we're talking about periods of change, we're in a Mercury retrograde right now, which started December 28th and should go for another week and change.
Yes.
What's your feelings on that, Joseph? How has this one been impactful compared to the other ones?
Well, first of all, I'm Mercury retrograde is the story of my life. I'm a Gemini, and it's governed by Mercury. And I believe, don't quote me on it 100%, but I believe also who are part of that are also the people from Virgo, that they have that also governed by Mercury. I'm not sure 100%, but I believe they are. But the retrograde this time, as you said, everything started from late summer as a shift of energy.
Mm-hmm.
So even retrograde, its energy is not the same as it used to be. So it can be sudden into you, and you might see delays happening. You might see people getting sick all of a sudden without knowing why, in order for them to start sit in their bed to think, to evaluate, to feel what there is more to that. Life is not as I'm seeing it normally before, and there is something bigger that I need to tap into it. So now Mercury normally brings lots of delays, especially in communication. And so you might have delays in email, delays in decisions. Sometimes some people take decision and then they change their mind when the retrograde go backward, forward, backward, and then it's a story of, so basically in the past, because I'm governed by Mercury retrograde, I usually, it happens 3 times a year. I have 3 vacations a year. I don't bother during the retrograde. I go have vacation, as I said, and I don't want to bother by it because it's always, I can handle it to myself because I'm aware of it, but sometimes I cannot handle other people's reaction and action about it. So I don't want to be bothered with that sometimes. So it is, like recently during this retrograde, I've been hammered with so many on the special that I put, that many people said, look, can we have the chart? And this everybody wants to know more about their chart because they're living into a system, that they're living into a way, they're not feeling that there's something cooking inside of them. It's like you have a pot of, you're cooking a stew, and the stew is boiling, and you don't know how, should I turn off the heat? Should I start eating it, or what's happening? And that's the beauty of it. It's like people are getting confused, but the confusion is positive here. The confusion, despite how we think about being confused, it's positive if we withdraw from it and just observe it passing by.
So what you're saying
without
is
resistance.
the confusion is part of the journey. Just embrace it.
It's part of the journey.
Yeah. And interestingly,
it's not the journey, it's part of the awakening.
Part of the awakening. Sure. Which, we're all on journeys, I believe. So the awakening is part of our journey.
Yeah, we're all coming to that journey, but because at this point, as this year is going to be more emphasized on the awakening, the spiritual awakening even. And I'm not talking religion here. I'm not talking religion. And even though for some people, they will go back to their church or to their mosque or to their synagogue. There's nothing wrong with that. But there is a bigger awakening. Because our values, we lost it through the time. And we don't have a grounding anymore. It's like everybody floating and everybody living artificial life, everybody putting so much mask on themselves to feel good to others, to sound that they are in control of everything when they are not in control of anything. So that's where the shakeup is going to take place.
So,
And that's
I
the
mean,
beauty of it.
one great example, I believe, of the retrograde where technology communication goes haywire a couple of days ago. In the States here,
Yeah.
the planes were grounded because the FAA had a tech issue. Same thing happened in Canada where you are. Had the same, there was another issue there, and apparently they were unrelated. How coincidental it happened at the same time. But just one example of technology. I want to jump into a numerology reading for Tina in New York,
Okay.
and her date of birth is 7/12/74.
All right. So first of all, she's going to be for Tina, this is a year for her because she started her date of birth with the 7th. So the 7 is part of her journey. So that makes it even interesting for her to watch for that. So 7 plus 12, 19, 29, 29 plus 29 plus 7, 36 plus 4 is 40. So her destiny is 40/4, which is also the 40 is an activation for the new consciousness. So she's going to get it this year. So it's going to be boiling for her to see. And her 12, even when I used to calculate 12 before, I used to calculate it 1 plus 2. But in the new consciousness, I calculated as 12 as a console. Now is going to be more. So Tina is going to be getting it from the different sources, from her 7, from her 12, and from her destiny, which is 40/4, which is it's fascinating to see that. So this is 21, 21, 31, 34, and 21. Yeah. So this is where the fascination from that. So from the 4 is for Tina to recognize as the 4 is about the mental, emotional, and physical and spiritual stability. How much stability she have in those 4 elements? Because if she have weakness in one, it's gonna make her flip ups and downs, and her wave will go like this, moving in a wrong different directions. And especially when it comes to the physical cover for us the finance, first of all, cover for us our prosperity, our vocation, our relationship, and our health. So we have the mental emotional that affect the physical, but in the physical it can affect us in so many different areas, because how you feel about money is then you're having either success with money or not success with money. Is how you feel about a certain event in your life. It determine if you're gonna have sickness in your body coming because of that event, because you're resisting it. So
Gotcha.
so there is a lot of things for Tina to wake up and shake up with it, and this is a good timing for her, to be honest. Despite if she were going into a downhill, she feels she's going into downhill, but that's not a downhill. That's a completely kind of uh, aligning her to be into the right track of where her numbers are. So that's a positive thing.
So, using her as an example, and you can read anybody based on this info. We have another one we'll get to in just a moment. Would you say that this is for Tina, based on her date of birth? Would you say this is a really good year for her?
Big time.
Yeah. Okay.
Big time. Even if she's not into she's into spiral going down, and she's not even a tornado. She's going with a tornado, but that tornado is to align her to put her in the right space.
So what you're saying is she may have been in a tornado, but that tornado this year is going to drop her off in certain spots
Somewhere, yeah.
where she should be.
Yes.
She just needs to embrace it.
Yes, you need to embrace it without any resistance.
Hmm. So what I'm trying to get from you here and understand is go in the direction that you feel, go in the direction that the universe is kind of taking you, and don't resist it.
And always, like, we have a bad habit as a human. Eventually we listen to everybody's opinion except ours. So she needs to learn to trust in her own thing because she have seven, and seven normally people with seven, especially for her, is at her young age. Sometimes the seven they have difficulty to trust in themselves or trust in a universe that can support them regardless what. But the moment she gained her trust, she's a lucky person from the beginning. So seven is about her spiritual path. And this year is 2023, is a seven also. So that's a plus for her. So I don't see it as a negative at all. And now her destiny is 40/4, and that zero is about her inner wisdom, her inner insight, and all the knowledge that she's bringing from her soul. Now they're gonna be start to awaken.
Can
That it
you
never happened before.
Can you, and this is, I'm learning this as we all are, just using Tina as an example. When you do a blueprint numerology on someone, again, this is the short version of it. Can people ask questions? Like, for example, let's say Tina's relationships, her, love life, whatever it might be. Can you figure that out based on her date of birth, her name?
Yes. Yes, I have four different charts. I have individual charts for somebody individually.
Mm-hmm.
I have relationship charts
Okay.
for two people, and comparing them. After this call, I'm doing one of those, and but also in relationship, if somebody been stuck into a random pattern of the same type of people they keep meeting, I will ask them to give me like the last few relationships that they've been with, and I will ask them their mom and dad numbers also. I will see their pattern on how they're doing the attracting relationship, and I also have one for the body, psychosomatic neurology. I'm the only one in the world who teach that, so or who do that chart even, and I have one for business also. So it depends on what somebody wants. I have different charts definitely, and that's where the whole aspect that it can help you to understand. I've done a lot of marriage counseling, and I solved it in 1 or 2 sessions, and they're back to normal because
Wow.
I just aligned their energy. That's all it is.
Would somebody ask you if they want you to do a blueprint on them? Do they say, oh, do me, can you please do the relationship one? Or are they all packed together when you provide that? Or is it you ask specifically for that particular blueprint?
They have to ask for that blueprint
Okay.
because the normal chart can go from hour to hour 15. The relationship can go for 2 hours, 30 minutes to 3 hours. The psychosomatic goes to almost 2 hours. The business can go for 5-6 hours sometimes. I do it on a different interval, the business. So it's not like that. So each chart have a different timing because I have to do different charts. For relationship, I have to do one person, the second person, and the comparison also. So that's already 3 charts to be done.
For Tina,
That's the whole difference.
Let's go back. I'm curious, just on a short blueprint here. Let's go personal, in terms of relationships with Tina based on the information that she gave you. What do you see for her?
For relationships, it depends on her four. Her four makes a huge difference. Now, her first name starts with a 2. If she have a little bit of extra sensitivity, she might have hard time in her relationships if you have too much sensitivity. Sensitivity is a positive thing, but when it becomes overly sensitive for anything that trigger you, then it becomes overly sensitive, and that's where we separate things altogether. Now, if I will see you see like 7, and she have 3, and another 3 here. So if I looked into her challenge, her major challenge in her life is 4, which is her destiny. So she's challenged with that destiny. That's mean she can have one major problem with the 4 to me personally is sometimes she might not be grounded enough. She's always floating. She's not grounded to this plane. And that's where, because if I'm looking to her vibration from those, she's have 40, she have 12, and those are the new master numbers in a sense for this new period of time we're going through. So she was elevated now. So her 4 is very essential. I just now calculated her challenge, and her challenge all her life is 4. So her mental, emotional is very at stake, and at the same time, but that can affect relationships. So how she addressed relationship, but now her relationship, if she's the type, she said one time in her life, oh my God, I keep attracting people in my life. I'm dating people in my life that keep reminding me of my dad or of my mom. That's been, she haven't addressed her mom and dad yet. That's why she keep attracting similar relationships that reflect that in her. And that's where but I cannot tell the details of anything before I do the full chart.
Sure.
And I do calculation of 3 pages calculation, and especially her name will determine a lot of stuff, because the destiny, the blueprint destiny, is basically based on the date of birth. Her name is how everything works in her life. It's her personal, how she's organized, how she's attracts certain experiences. It's her karma, it's her agreements with soul agreements, and a lot of things. And what's the subconscious, where she's coming from a previous lifetime. Is her 4, for example, is a repeat 4? Has she been doing it lifetime after lifetime? Isn't she stuck in the pattern or not? And all of these can be so simple. It's not like it is the end of the world that she cannot deal with it. That can be dealt with it.
It's fascinating. And we're just literally scraping the surface, in an
All the
example
time.
of how this works. Yeah. And but it's insightful, the info that you're getting and giving. And I can tell you, Tina's not on the phone with us. She had messaged us, but you did me using my information, and it was spot on. I don't want to agree with you just to say, yeah, okay, but it was like you had insight into my life and personality based on my legal name and my date of birth. It's pretty amazing
I
when you see.
mean, it is very accurate. It's not like it is. I'm not doing psychic reading here. I'm only looking into your vibration. I'm only reading the vibration. I'm not doing psychic reading. And I've been doing it for 35 years. So to be honest, I haven't seen 2 charts the same in 35 years. That's why we're all unique, and we need to start learning about our own uniqueness. That's what we lack in ourselves. We always depend on what other people see us as, instead of start looking from within us to bring to the world, instead of what the world wants to dump on us. And that's a huge difference. And
Ex-
perception of how we looked at things from the beginning.
I'm amazed, Joseph, how somebody's name impacts their life in terms of numerology, uh, based on what you're saying here. When we, have
Because it's
children.
their personality. It's their personality. It's all in your name.
But amazingly, how
And
it's your parents that give you that name. I'm sorry, I spoke over you.
there's
Please.
look, every person you ask them, every mom you ask her, how did you name me? She'll come with something, as a dream showed up to her, or a person that did something out of the extraordinary when she was pregnant with you, and the name of that person or that doctor that saved her from major thing. We all come, but those are not just coincidences. There
So
are ways to us from that name. And what we do, unfortunately, with our name, we sabotage ourselves. How many people keep changing their names?
for sure. Yeah.
I'm against having the name of her husband, because sometimes it's for her advantage, sometimes it's not for her advantage.
It's
So we need to really pay attention to that.
it's very interesting, in that what you just said, when a parent names their child, there might be a reason. It could be they're carrying on a name, from another relative, whatever it might be. But they may just say, I don't know, it just came to me. I like that name. But
Yeah.
there's a reason it resonated with
There's
them.
there's always a reason. Doesn't matter. This is why I always work with your original name to see what did you make changes in your life from your original name, because your foundation, your everything is coming in the original name, because
Wow.
that's your anchoring. But most of the time we completely change our name. We go into, I had one woman before. I said, why you're not using your middle name? She said, oh, I stopped using it from when I was in grade 4. I said, this is when you start sabotaging yourself then. So do you
Wow.
feel sometimes you go 1, 2 steps forward, then you go 3, 4 steps backwards? She said, that's the story of my life. I said, no, that's your self-sabotage. Because if you bring me back to your middle name, you'll stop all of that. And she did. She made it across everything. And within 6 months, she sent me a testimonial even. And she said, I made more money in 6 months than I made the whole last year, because now there's no going front and backward anymore. So she completely anchored it into where she's supposed to be.
Amazing.
So it's
Amazing.
very, even letter can change everything in you.
I never
That's all it
realized,
takes.
and we had this conversation briefly before, but never realized how important somebody's name is. But what I'm getting, and it's crystal clear now, is again, when somebody names their child, there's a reason. Even though they don't know the reason, potentially they could just say, I don't know, it just popped in my head. It came for a reason. The universe gave him that name to pass on to that child. Uh, we're out of time, but fascinating
Yes.
stuff today, Joseph, and seeing you in action with Tina. I'm hoping she reaches back to us and then we can validate some of this stuff next time we get together. What is the best way for somebody to reach you for a blueprint numerology reading or anything else that you do?
They can go to Blueprint. For a numerology reading, they can go soulvisions.org. This is where all my numerology charts are sitting there. But if they want to reach me, to talk to me directly, they can go to soulvisionawakening.com. And they can schedule for 20 minutes conversation with me even. So they just click on somewhere in the site and to have a conversation before do anything even. So
Sure.
it's a
Yeah,
free consultation.
I'm
So
sure
yes.
people have questions, on what they should select, what direction they should go in, but it's all there. The information is there. It's you're amazing, Joseph. I always learn a lot every time we talk.
And if they lost any of the sites, just type my name in Google and you'll find me everywhere. So
Gotcha. Yeah, Joseph Boutros Agape. That's Agape, correct?
yeah, or Gabby if they want to go for the older name.
Ghabi, right?
Yeah.
Excellent.
So whatever they'll find me anyway. So in both names they'll find me now.
Joseph, great having you on again, and so much to learn here, so much to I mean, even the fact that, on the art side of things, we talked a couple of podcasts back how you design your art based on energy and color, just all good stuff. I look forward next time we get a chance to talk.
All right, no problem, and I'll be happy to do that. And as you see, uh, everything vibrates around us. Everything has energy around us. Everything has vibration into it, and everything has different frequency. And that's how we differ from each other from those levels. But if we start understanding our own energy, our own vibration, our own frequency, then we start walking on a better path that has a light into it that can keep guiding you how to go in an easier way.
Yeah.
But unfortunately for humanity, they love the harder way. Then that you made your choice, and that's
Well,
all what it is.
and you need guidance for that. We can realize that we have energy, but we're not really sure what to do with it. So for that, there's Joseph. Thank you again, and we'll talk soon.
As an expert in over 35 years in energy, vibration, and frequency work, do you feel you are stuck with the same old energy in your health, in relationship, finance, or anything you desire to have? My name is Joseph Boutros Agape from Soul Vision Awakening. I created, based on my past experiences, quanta healing art meditation to empower you to heal, change, modify your old energy using energetic painting I created or commissioned to create for my client. If you like to practice the experience within my meditation, connect with me at soulvisionawakening.com/thank you.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house.
And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned.
This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.